Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Let's move on. The sound and fury on the airwaves between the Conservative contenders will, as we keep hearing, come down to a choice that will ultimately be made only by Tory members around the country. We think we know these people. The average age over 50, generally white, generally affluent, and we assume generally Boris Johnson facing. Is that actually true? James Clayton went to talk to some of them.
It's 4 p.m. on a rainy Monday afternoon and West Suffolk Conservatives are meeting for their weekly gathering.
First item on the agenda is apologies for absence. Christine?
The meeting might seem a little pedestrian at times, but these Conservative members now exercise enormous power. Around 160,000 Conservatives, that's smaller than the population of West Suffolk, will choose our next Prime Minister. So who are they? And more importantly, what do they think? Fortunately, Queen Mary's University has polled Conservative Party members with some fascinating results. Let's take 100 Conservative Party members. About 20% of them are from the South East compared to just 14% of the population. The membership is relatively old, about 40% are over 65. 97% classify themselves as white British. A quarter of Conservative Party members are also members of the National Trust, and 5% of Conservatives are Freemasons, about 10 times the national average. They're also disproportionately wealthy. A third of the membership earn more than £50,000 and so would benefit from Boris Johnson's plan to raise the 40% tax rate.
When it comes to the economy, we have seen a definite cooling on austerity on the part of Conservative Party members since we've been polling them since 2015. So a lot more of them now think that spending cuts are either about right or have gone a bit too far. But they're certainly not keen on the idea that government should be redistributing wealth and income from the rich to the poor. And that, I think, probably reflects both their ideology and the fact that most of them themselves are fairly comfortably off and they don't want to lose that wealth.
Over 90% of members think people who break the law should be given stiffer sentences. A sign perhaps that admissions of previous drug taking won't go down too well with the party faithful. And 63% believe in the death penalty for some crimes. 4/5 of the party believe the UK was right to vote to leave the EU in 2016. And 64% believe leaving the EU without a deal will be positive for the UK economy in the medium to long term. At least half of all members do not see a need for more female MPs, disabled MPs, young MPs, gay MPs or ethnic minority MPs. 82% do not see a need for more Muslim MPs. And one more thing, out of those 100 people, just 30 would be women. It wasn't always like this.
The Tory party without women would be as unthinkable as Blackpool without rock.
The party has a strong tradition of appealing to women. Its women's organisation was once 1 million strong.
There's no doubt that the older, more traditional ladies see in Mrs. Thatcher, perhaps a little to their own surprise, a tangible hope for the party to get back into government.
Research shows that previously Conservative Party membership was split pretty much evenly, 50-50. For some inside the party, the fact that the new Prime Minister will predominantly be chosen by men isn't necessarily viewed as a problem.
No, I don't think it's a problem. It's our membership of the party. We're united by our shared values and the policies that we want to see. So we will all be looking at it through that prism rather than a lens about gender.
Back in West Suffolk, I wanted to find out whether that view on the party's gender imbalance was held by other Conservatives.
So first of all, who thinks it matters? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So a good majority of you thinks it matters.
I personally think it's worrying, and I worry about it, because obviously if you're going to represent a country, you've got to represent the people who are in that country. So therefore it's very important.
You know, we're all Conservatives around the table, aren't we? We're sometimes things get a little bit too political correct. And, you know, you try and make sure that it's 50-50 this, 50-50 that.
Every organisation would love to have a fully representative makeup of its market, effectively, but you can't wish that, you can't demand that.
The Conservative Party are really hot on law and order. Michael Gove's admitted to using cocaine, Boris Johnson we're not sure about, Jeremy Hunt cannabis, etc. Do you think that that matters at all? Put your hands up if you think that matters. None of you.
It matters. Things like that are obviously a concern, but everyone is far more understanding nowadays, and with the latest revelations from some of the candidates, that's another life. And in fact, we want people to come from different backgrounds, to have different experiences.
What the person represents now and his background and what he brings to the table is really important. And one thing that he did when he was a student or 20 years old doesn't mean everything.
Like many associations, West Suffolk Conservatives has seen an uptick in members joining in recent months. In the last year, the Conservative Party has attracted 36,000 people to the party. Now, we don't know what they think because they weren't included in the polling that we've used, but from our research, ringing up local Conservative associations, we think they're mostly former Conservatives coming back to the Conservative Party of a more UKIP persuasion.
The Conservative Party conference is above all a self-satisfied assembly with its own moral pace.
The current Conservative Party membership of 160,000 is way off what it once was. The great irony is that in one of its smaller incarnations, the party faithful are taking their biggest ever decision.
That was James Clayton with some of the Tory party members.